Hey guys, I'm Eric Martel. I'm an entrepreneur and real estate investor. I've done over 650 flips, totaling about $85 million in real estate transaction over the last 10 years. And I'm doing these videos to help you make more money. And if this is something that you like too, make sure you like and subscribe. And today I'm going to talk about a topic that is an absolute game changer. Many people are coming to me and say, how can you do all these deals? How can you do all these businesses? How can you accomplish all these projects? How can you find time to do this, to do that, and stuff like that? And the concept is time management. So today we're going to talk about time management and then kind of how to get things done, get organized, and how I do it myself. We're also going to talk about some tools that I use, that I have used in the past that may help you get more organized and manage your time better. So what is time management? Well, I think of time as an investment, right? So whatever I'm doing, when I'm spending an hour or 30 minutes on something, I am investing time into that thing. So I'm expecting a return. But unlike money, time is a limited resources. So it's not renewable. Once it's gone, once that 30 minutes is gone, it's gone forever. There's no way for me to recoup that. So it is a little bit different. There's a lot more, because it's non-renewable, you have to be more careful. And this is why I think it's so critical for people to manage their time properly, because there's a lot of time sucks out there. There's a lot of poor time management and time wasters out there with social media and everything that's bombarding us. Is just, it's just incredible. We have it feels like we have a lot of time on our hand, especially if you're young. You think you have the whole time in the world and you don't have to worry about anything. It is partially true, but eventually it's going to come, you're going to come to my age and say, oh, well, I wasted a little bit of time here and there, and here we are. So time management, critical. And today in this video, we're going to talk about, kind of like why it's important to do this, what is the impact of that, and I'm going to show you a method on how to manage your time properly. I'm also going to give you some tools on that would help you accomplish that. So let's dive right into it. For some reason, as things progressed over the years, I'm realizing that time management, managing your time, is more difficult than ever before. Social media is everywhere. Your phone is constantly pinging you for a message on Facebook, a message on Instagram, a message on TikTok, and a new video here, and a new this there, and you're just constantly bombarded. The number one thing is these notifications. You need to kind of like stop these notifications and focus on things that are important, or being able to filter these things. So it's very important, and this is why it's so difficult now. People are kind of wasting their time on things that are really not that important, and that's because they're being prompted constantly by their devices, their social media, and all of that. Another thing that's going on culturally right now is people feel that they have to be ultra responsive. So if somebody sends you a text, you have to answer within, you guys are going to laugh, you have to answer within an hour. I think most of you are going to say, an hour, No, 5 minutes. If you don't answer within 5 minutes, that's it. I think something is wrong. I'm going to send the National Guard or call 911. So this is something that, you don't necessarily have to be ultra responsive. I know it's counter to what we're seeing. And again, because you're trying to be ultra responsive, you're taking time away from something that might be more important to respond to this text, because you have to be responsive. Next thing is multitasking culture. People are changing a little bit, but the multitasking culture, there's some research that has been done on that, and they're saying that multitasking, people are never multitasking. They're single tasking, but little chunks at a time, and then basically your attention kind of like goes up. It has to ramp up, and then you're at the top attention level. But if you multitask too quickly, then that top attention level, that top concentration, is not going to be there for very long. And then you end up in a situation where you're transitioning out and transitioning back up to the next task that you're saying you're multitasking. So multitasking is a fallacy. It doesn't work that way. The brain doesn't work like that. So you're always single tasking. So the question is that you want to find enough, you want to be able to dedicate yourself and concentrate your time on substantially so that you are at your top peak of concentration and that you're ready to do the work for a significant amount of time. Otherwise, you're just constantly peaking and coming back down, peaking and coming back down, and you never had that enough attention dedicated to a task. And this is critical. And this is critical that you have that period of concentration there in order to accomplish things that are more complex than that, and that require that kind of concentration. You know, not every problems can be solved in 2 minutes. So there are some problems that requires you to spend, you're gonna think I'm crazy, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of concentration to solve a problem. Not everything can be fixed in 5 to 3 minutes. So if you want to do major changes, you have to be able to dedicate the time, shut everything off, and get it done. So why is it important, right? Obviously, we want to achieve our goal, and I think what I'm seeing is that a lot of people have their time stolen away from them by social media, by all these applications that you have that are pinging for attention on all the devices that you have. So you want to, you know, kind of like focus on things that are really important. Even all these notifications. Right now we have tools that, you know what, from when it's between this time and this time, these are the applications I want to receive notification from. From this time and this time, you know, after work or after 9 p.m. or 8 p.m., then, oh yeah, I can receive notifications about YouTube and TikTok and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, this is there are tools out there on your devices to help you do that. So I recommend that you look at that and then prevent your time from being stolen from these applications. The other reason why this is so important to focus on time management is that you can accomplish more. You know, that's why a lot of people are asking me, so how can you do all these things? Like, you have the same amount of time that I do. Now they're thinking it's because I don't have a full-time job. So they're thinking, oh, yeah, that's why you have all the time to play around and things and record videos and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, it didn't matter. When I had a full-time job, yeah, that took a chunk of time, obviously, but I still had time to do things in the evening. I still had time to do things in the weekend. I still enjoyed life, but I was also dedicating sometimes to do my business, to do real estate investing, to do whatever I needed to do to accomplish more and also accomplish things that are going to help you give me the life that I want to give, achieve my goals. And you know, this is why it's so important for you to focus on time management. We all have the same amount of time. Whether you're rich or poor, you have the same amount of time. What's important is how you invest that time. Another thing about the time management also is that it reduces stress. And so when we talk about the tools and the process for managing your time, you're going to see that, you know, obviously if you're not organized, you're going to see all the things that you have to do. They're kind of like bouncing around in your head and say, oh yeah, I have to call this person. I have to do this. I have to do that. But once you go through the process and my method for organizing and managing your time, you're going to see that you're not focusing on 50 things bouncing around and you don't know which one to pick. You're going to be focusing on one action at a time, or one task at a time, and you're going to complete that knowing that these other things that are bouncing around right now, they're going to be prioritized in a list, and you're just going to go down that list and accomplish everything that you need to do. So the bottom line of this is that it's going to reduce stress because you don't have all these tasks floating around in there. And a lot of these tasks, I'm going to tell you, you don't need to worry about. So you can probably delete half of those tasks and focus on things that really matters the most to you. Now I'm going to talk about how you're going to manage your time better. And it's going to be like basically 5 steps or 5 steps in order to do this. Number 1 is going to be capture everything. So all these things that are bouncing around, put them in a list, have them in some tool, Excel spreadsheet or whatever tool you're using. We're also going to talk about tools in a second, but list everything that you need to do. I like to have one list as much as possible, and now it's getting more complicated, but because you have a list for this kind of projects, you have another list for this business, you have a list for this, but try to have one list if it's would be ideal. Sometimes you want to reduce the number of lists so that you can focus on really what's really important. But one list would be ideal. It could be in a tool. It could be in your email inbox if you work that way, and maybe it's the email inbox and some other tools. But that's kind of like the idea. Capture everything so that nothing is bouncing around and stressing you out. Number 2 is about clarifying these tasks, all these things that you have on your list, and defining kind of like what the outcome that you're seeking. So when you're looking at these tasks, you want to say, well, is this getting me closer to my goal? Like what's my goal in life? What do I want to do? I want to achieve financial freedom. I want to invest in real estate. I want to have real estate as a side gig as I continue to work with my full-time job. So this is all great, but you want to know kind of like where you're heading, and then so when you look at your task, you're going to say, okay, well, these tasks are kind of this not getting me closer to my goal. It's not helping me at all. These are just kind of like distractions, things that are not needed. So just kind of know what your goal is so that you can define the outcome and organize a plan of action for achieving these things. So you may actually delete some tasks from your list. You may also, once you know your goals, you may actually add some tasks to your list and say, well, in order for me to accomplish my goal, well, I need some more tasks here that are not in the list right now. Like I'm not going to get there if I don't do this, if I don't do this, if I don't do this. So enhancing that list and making sure that you have clearly defined outcomes and goals so that you can really look at that list and know that it's complete and everything is in there. Then we need to prioritize. So we have a long list of tasks, things that we want to do. We know what we're trying to get out of that, what the outcome of these tasks are, how they fit into our overall goal, and how they're going to help us achieve what we want to achieve in life. So the next thing is really prioritize. Which one is more important than the other? So there's a famous kind of like tool that people have used in the past where you have things that are urgent, like urgent, not urgent, and then you have things that are important and not important. So if they're not important and they're not urgent, so why do you need to bother with them? So this is kind of like the delete category. You don't have to worry about them. Just remove them from your list. You don't even have to track those things. Remove them from your list. So that's number 1. Then there's another one that it's urgent. It's something that needs to be done, but it's not that important, or it's not something that you have to do personally. So this is the delegate category. Like I really like the book, like 4-Hour Workweek that Tim Ferriss wrote a while back, and that was really enlightening about getting virtual assistant to do some of these things for you, things that are repetitive that you don't have to worry about that. If you have a business, is to make sure that you delegate stuff to people that are part of your team that have the skill set that you may have or that you don't have, but you don't need to be the one doing that task. Delegate as much as possible. Look at these tasks and then delegate, and you delegate by telling the person exactly what the task is about, and then giving a due date, and then you can manage that if you want in the back end, but at least someone else is doing the work. So you have your list. You got rid of all the stuff that was in the delete category, not urgent, not important. You delegated a bunch of other tasks to people that have the skill set to do the job, but that you don't have to do it yourself. So that's there. And now we're left with 2 other categories that are both important. Some of them are urgent, and some of them are not urgent. So the ones that are important and urgent, so obviously this is something that we have to do immediately. So that's going to frame up to this is going to roll up to the top of the list in terms of the priority. And then we have things that are important but not as urgent. So then you can kind of schedule them in the future. And when I say schedule them, that means you could actually block time in your calendar to deal with that particular task or that particular outcome in the future. So the do's, we do as soon as possible. So they're going to be, we're going to go down that list. The ones that are in the important and not urgent, this is something that we're going to schedule. We're going to put time in our calendar or whenever we have some free time, and then we can dedicate our time to that. Number 3, so now we want to organize kind of like an action plan for these tasks, these deliverable things that we have to do. And one of the categories for that, for the action, is going to be the next step, next action that needs to be taken. So these are things. Normally, these would be things that are in the in the urgent, in the do category. So urgent and important. So you want to say, okay, what do I need to do next? And you can do these things as soon as possible. So this is the next action. Other things, other tasks or deliverables, they are more substantial. They need to have more like an action plan, a series of steps that need to be done, taken, maybe some input from other people, all that kind of stuff. This has more like a project feel to it. So you would want to kind of manage them, get these things started, and then have like multiple tasks associated with that. And then you kind of like what I call time boxing. So you basically say, okay, well, you need to do this. I need to have that completed by Friday. I need to have that completed by the end of the day. And you kind of like work this way. So these are more like project oriented, where you have to spend a substantial amount of time to get that resolved, and multiple tasks are involved. Sometimes you also have tasks in any categories that you're waiting on someone else. So you want to put a label on that. You want to put some kind of a special color in your tool to say that I'm waiting on input from this particular person. When I get my answer, when I get that input, I can continue with the rest of the task for this particular deliverables. Then there's a bunch of tasks, that would probably fall in the schedule and not urgent, but really at the far end of that. And these would be what I call the incubate. So these are things that, if I have time one day, I'm gonna play the guitar. And that's why I'm surrounded by guitar, because I'm hoping that one day I'm gonna have, a few minutes to actually strum on the guitar and play a little bit. So, but this is something that's important. There's something that I call incubate, which is it could be some ideas. I have a new business idea. I have an idea to do this, to do that, and it's not urgent to do it. It's something that's important to me, but I can put that in the back burner in the incubate category. And once I have time, then I can start working on that. So now we have organized our action plan for all the tasks, what we need to do. Next is review. So at the end of a task, you would review your list of tasks and deliverables and outcome, and you would say, okay, well, here's the next one. And you can kind of review anything else that needs to be revised, like is something else in that top category that I need to do now instead, and kind of like shuffling things around. But constantly review that list and curate that list to make sure that you're working on the right priority, especially as you're getting more information from people, or you're thinking about it a little bit more. You say, well, this is not something I need to focus on. This could be done it could be in the back burner, or and something in the back burner may be becoming more pressing, so you have to shuffle that. So review that list and curate that list to make sure that you're working in the right stuff, that you whether you can or cannot delegate that task to someone else if you're waiting for information, so keeping on track of that. And then finally, it's about engaging. It's really about going through the task and getting them done. Again, that reduces your stress. It also reduces the amount of time that you kind of like shuffling around, what do I need to do next? And then you start looking on social media, and then you waste an hour looking at Instagram or TikTok videos that are completely irrelevant and are not going to help you get to where you want to go. So engage means that you're engaged, focused on the task list, and you go down that list. Once you finish one, you can use some time buffers between the two. So I try to block my time on my calendar for things that I have to spend more than an hour on, or more than 30 minutes on. I would basically block my calendar, say, I'm going to work on this particular deliverable. If it's things that I'm reviewing my emails, then I'm just going to review my emails, or I can block time and say, for 1 hour, I'm going to review my emails. So calendar is also critical when you have other people putting things in your calendar, so you want to block time in there for that. You also want to include some buffers between meetings, between times, so that between tasks that are on your calendar, so that if something comes up, you're not kind of like delayed on your next meeting. You're not delayed on your next deliverable. So these time buffers are pretty important to organize your calendar and manage your time accordingly. But engaging is very important, and going through that list. So these are the 5 steps really to manage your time. If there's anything you want me to dive down into a little bit more, make sure you put something in the comments, or if you have some tips and tricks that you have done on your own and that you want to share with the community, with everyone that's watching, make sure you add that to the comment as well, so all your comments are welcome. Now let's talk about tools. So lots of tools out there to help you achieve that. I've used many of them, and they're all good. So Asana is one of them. Monday is another one. Jira. If you have a CRM, a customer relationship management software, you can definitely use that. They all have some kind of tasks list that you can manage and prioritize and all that kind of stuff. A lot of these tools you can actually kind of like customize these tasks so that to help you manage your time better. So all is great. So all these tools are good. The only thing that makes a difference is who you're working with. So if you're working with a lot of people that they're all using Jira. So our software development team at Flip System, for example, they all want to use Jira. Our marketing department, they want to use Jira. They're used to using Jira for managing all the content and all the ads and all that kind of stuff. So right now, that's why we moved from Asana to Monday, and now we move to Jira for a lot of the task management and time management that we have. But pick any one of them. The problem is not the tool. The problem is you going through the process, the 5-step process that I mentioned, to make sure that you are managing your time accordingly and that everything is in alignment with your goal and what you want to achieve in life. So I hope you found this video helpful. I think that time management is a critical piece. I don't think enough people are talking about time management. And as you know, I make these videos to help you make more money. And I believe that time management is a key piece to help you accomplish and make more money, accomplish your goals, financial independence and whatnot. And if this is what you want to, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and see you next time.